earlier.
Okay, guys, Ed is here.
There he is. Hello, Ed. Ed is joining us. I think he's promoting peaches, maybe. Or impeachment. There we go.
Is that it?
That's all we have today.
Well, thank God, goodness you're here, Ed, or we wouldn't have any guests today, so. Thank you. All right. Okay, Heart and Spark. So this is kind of funny. When I kind of Googled a saying or an inspiration, this is what ChatGPT said: Rotary, where hearts are huge, sparks fly fast, and no one escapes without a committee assignment. I guess ChatGPT knows us better than ourselves. All right, happy bucks. Happy bucks. Okay. Oh, shoot.
No, I thought you could shoot.
What?
You.
You're supposed to sing it.
Oh, I'm not allowed to sing. My mom will even tell you that.
Why?
You're a little sinner.
That makes it better.
Your mother tells me you can't sing. You know.
Just start.
Hey guys, you're getting happy this morning with Happy Bucks. No, hi Todd. Todd, why do we do Happy Bucks here at the Rotary Club on Friday mornings?
Probably because it's a line item on our budget. But I think the real reason is because some of these people, you gotta get donations out of them $1 at a time.
Well, that's a small part of Happy Bucks, but let me tell you why we really do Happy Bucks. Happy Bucks are done because we don't have enough time on Friday mornings to talk to every single person in our club. And we want to know what makes you happy, what brings you joy, what sparks your life, and what you want to share with us. So Happy Bucks, Erica's really, really excited to bring Happy Bucks to every Friday meeting that we have. So we are going to be doing Friday morning Happy Bucks.
Big smiles.
Yeah, big smiles when you do your Happy Bucks. Cash.
Oh, the cash.
What
What if
if
we don't have cash?
What if you don't have cash? Well, you've got a couple options. We will take cash, change. We will take checks.
We'll meet you at your car.
We also this year have the IOHB envelopes. These are little credit envelopes. So if you want to share your happy with us today, don't not share it because you don't have cash. Just get an envelope from one of us, fill it with cash at home, bring it the next week, and we're good to go. We want you to share your happy with us. So when you raise your hand to do Happy Bucks, we are going to ask you just to state your name and what makes you happy. That's it. Easy enough. Cool?
Cool, very cool.
Who's got Happy Bucks?
All right. Here we go. Here we go. We got a couple over here. Okay.
I have 5 Happy Bucks because I was in Iowa at the family reunion last week. 149 people in my family and everybody got along.
We have Chuck.
Chuck Adams here. Hey, I'm happy and I need one of the envelopes for the help that we had at Kevin's house last week from Gary, from Tim, from me, and from Todd. So here yeah, we are equals. The other thing I'm happy about is I went to that Coldplay concert in Boston last night.
Wow.
I'm here.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
I'm here. I'm happy.
So, Kimra, something happened about 2 years ago. I've become a crazy bird lady. And I know it happens as we age, but I got 7 new birds on a trip to the Mediterranean, so I have 7 happy ones. 7 new types of birds. Okay, so if you want to talk birds with me in the Great Green Merlin Bird app, I'm your person because I have become the crazy bird lady.
Okay, all right. Erica, I have $5. So I have $5 for the hours that Michelle Vanags helped me in my pizza. We fall down to we were busy.
Yay.
All right.
I need an IOU.
Okay. We'll meet you at your car.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Harry. What makes me happiest, probably as you all know, and I'll be gone the next couple of weeks because I'm going on a catamaran in Greece. It's with 10 tiny islands. Yeah, I've already been to like the big islands and they're over tourist. And so I'm trying to go places that aren't this tourist. But I'll miss you all in the next couple of weeks. I don't even know if I'll have internet and now this is so I don't have internet there, but it's gonna be fun. So I'll see you in a few weeks.
Here you go.
Mike Thomas, I'm really happy they're filling the Chuck holes on I-70. I'm not happy that I couldn't get on access 254 from Genesee and I had all the way down the hill. So, what do you got?
Oh, yeah.
But we're glad you're here.
Happy Bucks this morning. I'm Jen. I have Happy Bucks because this is my first in-person meeting with our new president. I was just on Zoom last week, so yay for Erica.
Thank you.
I'm Jerry, I have Happy Bucks, we've been renovating our house and I got this now.
Yay.
I'm happy because I got to see Erica in her truck for the first time last weekend at Conifer Fest. It was a fabulous event for us at Wildfire Ready. And we're looking forward to next weekend and back in Conifer at Elevation Celebration.
All right.
And I'm looking forward to Art in the Park in here this weekend.
Summerfest.
I'm Betsy Gates, and what makes me happy is just this past weekend, I went to South Dakota for the first time with the master swim team, and we did an open water swim, 1.2 miles, and it felt really great. It was so fun to be with the master swim team from Evergreen, and then a big shout out to Erica and Jen, who, when I saw them 2 weeks ago, said, "You've never been to South Dakota? Here's what you need to see." And I saw all of things. Didn't have to cash in my card, so you can follow me or I'll go get.
Jen will follow you on.
Okay, my name is Reese. I have 5 Happy Bucks. I got my pins out of my wrist 2 days ago. I leave for Kenya next Tuesday and got a great report that Mindy and her family have made it to Germany and are on their flight to Kenya right now.
Thank you, everybody. Oh, one more.
Well, I would put 20 Happy Bucks in. As I was trail angeling for, you know what that means, taking care of long distance hikers, and kind of whatever they need. Between, well, near state steamboat, draft years past, and then southern Wyoming, where it was just me and the cows out there, on the hikers showed up and I trail angeled for 20 hikers. Last week, and they are on their way to Canada. And they said, which made me feel wonderful, that but by being out there, they wouldn't have all gathered on the side of the road and had some Gatorade and chatted with each other. They're on the go. So it's a wonderful thing.
That's me. Yeah. All right, thank you, Jen and Todd and everyone. Thank you, Diane, for doing that. I didn't even know that was a thing. That's awesome. All right, let's do the Rotary rundown. As you guys know, this weekend is Summerfest over at Buchanan, so please go over and support CAE. And as we know, they have margaritas. But it's a fun time if you haven't been. We do have burritos now. Oh, they're going around with them. Thank you. Okay, July 22nd is the Rotary Hike with Malt and Diane. We have, I think, 14 people signed up. So, excited about that. If you haven't signed up, we will put the link in the minutes. Or come and see Diane after the meeting. We also have, Rowdy Rotarians at the Lake House, August 6th. Then we're dark, August 8th. August 23rd is the Christian Irving Memorial Scholarship Pickleball tournament, and things are on the table, but Gary's probably gonna come up and talk a little bit about that. September 20th is Recycle Day. October 11th, the Rotary District Conference, and October 25th is the Wash Symposium. I know this is kind of far out, but I want you guys to get these on your calendar and make sure that you're aware that they're there. The other thing is, I have two things. The first thing is, I don't know if you guys have gotten the Serenity, but they did the front page for Mountain Music Fest for Michelle Vanag's Wooden Claw. So congratulations on that. There's a great article in there as well. And then Rotary International, this is a special issue, Unite for Good. And it actually has the new Rotary International president in there and a nice article about him. It has all of the trustees, everybody that's involved in Rotary, and I believe Bob and Marianne, your names are in there too, Phoebe, for the district governors. Oh, no, it'd be Cindy. It would be Cindy. I was thinking they put in the assistant, but they put in the district governor, which is Cindy. And Greg Pod is in there, yeah. They actually have a little blurb on him, and then they have, if you're wondering who the district governors are, sorry about that. And Cindy Roll, who is our district governor, will be here August 22nd, I believe. So be ready for that. All right. Okay, here is my sparkle that inspires. Dave, will you come up, please? Dave Laughlin. So you may not know this, but Dave Laughlin and Kay volunteered at Camp Comfort last weekend. And yes. Thank you so much. Camp Comfort, for you guys that don't know, is the great camp for kids for Mount Evans Health and Hospice. And I heard that Dave did a great job and just jumped in for his first time. So thank you so much, Dave. Do you want to say anything? I know I put you on the spot.
It was a really great experience for me, visiting with the kids and listening to their stories, heartbreaking, but at the same time, the way that they're moving on and moving forward was inspirational to me.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Okay. Carolyn would like a burrito.
Oh, I got hot. Hot or half and half? Hot it is. Thank you. Sorry, I missed you. Anybody else?
I'll take a half and half if you have one.
Half and
Right
half.
over there. All right. Thank you, guys. And Kay is not here. So, okay, did someone say plastics last week, Bill and Steve? Well, this is what our plastics get us, and this is our new bench, which is at Marshdale. So for you pickleballers, it's right there by the pickleball court. And thank you, Rita, for working with EPRD to place it. So please go. We are not dedicating it to a specific person going forward, but we do have, and I forget what this one says, Rita. Does it say service above self?
No, that's the next one. Building friendship, goodwill and betterment.
Okay. Building goodwill and better friendships. So we're gonna put our 4-way test on the benches now. So thank you, guys.
I think we're only 14 pounds shy of getting our next bench.
14.
Not shy of 1,000.
That is great, because last week we just needed a Marcia, and now we just need a fourth of a Marcia. Okay.
Ginny was very responsible for a lot of capacity.
Well, thank you, Jenny. All right, so we will continue doing that on the first Friday of the month. All right, we're gonna do general announcements. Come on up. Ed, that's you. Let's see, who else? Come on, don't
Traffic
die.
was terrible, so sorry. Traffic was terrible.
Burritos are delivered.
You playing yet?
That's okay, we were starting. Thank you, Fred. Yay. You couldn't put on your lights and just fly up 7th now.
Russ and I are having a contest this morning, about who can be in the worst mood and most curmudgeonly. I won.
I don't doubt
Watch it. This is a public service announcement. These are microphone lessons. Do you see this? This microphone. Notice the distance between my big mouth and the big microphone. When you do this, or when you do this, or when you do that, you can't hear it as well. Why? That means you are discriminating against these fine people on Zoom. Please, 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 put the microphone in front of your freaking face. Just like this, he said curmudgeonly. And speak into the microphone. Speak slowly, me now. I can't do that. Thank you, that your public service announcement has been concluded. I told you, I can't do that.
I think I got the lesson down. I'm Patrice again. I'm leaving for Kenya to volunteer with the Center of Love Foundation on Tuesday. And we are still accepting donations. I want to thank all of you that sent donations to Mindy's house. They're all packed up and on the airplane right now. But if you have a little bit of cash to spare, we're gonna be buying diapers, sanitary products for young women that sometimes sell their bodies in order to get sanitary products there. And we're also using some of the money to buy nutritional porridge for children that are experiencing malnutrition. Thank you so much. I'll be here to accept any cash donations.
So, as was mentioned, the hike for Mount Maryland Land Trust is this Tuesday. If you are going, please meet at the Bergen Park and Ride right across the street here at 8 o'clock Tuesday morning. If you signed up and you can change your mind, you can do that quickly on the sign up, online, or come see me. I'll provide driving directions when we all get together, but if you're driving separately and need those, please also see me today so that I can email them. It's gonna be a wonderful hike. We'll be back by 5 o'clock. Need you there at the parking right at 8, so we can put conference together. We're going down into South Park, Sacramento, will be fun. Thank you.
Well, first off, let me say, so great to see so many of you. I haven't been here for a while. You've got a great group over here. I really enjoyed this morning. So, but I am here, as you know, I'm a peachy guy. And we're from Conifer Rotary selling our peaches. And on your table is a little card. You can order them online. If you want to provide a check this morning, I have some forms. You can fill one out, provide a check or cash. And for you special people, normally the pickup is in Conifer on Saturday morning. But if you tell me specifically that you want one over here, I work a lot with Mount Evans Home Health and Hospice, and I deliver a load over there on Saturday morning. You could pick them up right at Mount Evans on Saturday, August 23rd, if that's more convenient for you. So please help support that. It's a great cause. I got all dressed up just to see you folks today, but it's because I'm going over to Summerfest. I set up all their tents. We have the Conifer Rotary tents, and they use them at Summerfest. So I'll be setting up over there right after and then picking them up. And it was mentioned Conifer Fest. We had a great Conifer Fest last weekend. The best unobtrusive measure, we kept running out of beer. So it was a great day, and thank all of you for letting me have a couple minutes, and hopefully you'll get those cards and buy a box of peaches. Remember, even if you say it's too many, you can freeze them. You can make pies if you want to know how. I'll even give you my wife's special freezing and recipes for that. So thanks again. Good to see all of you.
Good morning, this is Gary Ervick, and on August 23rd, before you pick up your peaches or after you pick up your peaches, please join us at Mount Vernon Country Club or Canyon Club for the fourth annual Christian Irving Memorial Pickleball Scholarship Fund event. Should be, it's been great the last couple of years. We have the Rum Runners Band. There's food, there's drink, there's silent auction, plenty of pickleball if you like to play pickleball. And even if you don't, please come and join us. I know, for example, Bill Manning, wherever he is, he brings his purple chair and he normally shows up, even though he doesn't play, but he does come and visit and spend some time with us. So you're all welcome. We all wish you were there. There's a flyer on the table, but we'll also include the information that's in here on the minute notes for this meeting. So come one, come all, and join us on the 23rd of August. Thank you.
Good morning, I'm Michelle Phoenix. I'm the youth liaison for Evergreen High School's Rotary program, and I am up here to talk about this, if you guys got it. It's August 16th, we're on a countdown, we're at like 27 days, I think, but the young Rotarians have decided to get a dunk tank again. And so if anybody, you know, would like to be in the dunk tank, we'd love that. Yes. There's a few, yeah, Chris and Bill. We'll also try and get some of the teachers from the high school again to be in it. We will have we'll have the young Rotarians there, but we are gonna have a sign up genius go out we wanna have a tent right next to the dunk tank for our Rotarian group. And so we'll send out a sign up genius here in the next week or so, just from like 12 to 5, because by that time, everything on the carnival side will be settling down and then the opening acts or the main acts will be playing. So look for that. It's August 16th, Saturday, and it'll be the actual events from 12 to 9. And we're looking for volunteers for 12 to 5. Thanks. Ready? Oh, okay.
Give me an R.
Give me an O.
Give me a W. Give me a D. Give me a Y. What's that spell? Louder.
Jen, other than this group on Friday mornings, what's rowdy?
Rowdy Rotarians is coming up, everybody. Rowdy Rotarians is gonna be meeting on Wednesday, August 6th at the lake, the Evergreen Lake. We are gonna be doing music at the lake. We are not gonna be doing music at the lake. We're gonna be listening at the music at the lake. It's the last Music at the Lake series for the summer. If you haven't been to one, you really should go.
Great time, you really should.
We are going to be blocking off an area for Rotarians and their family and friends to hang out and sit in. We will be getting there kind of early to set up camp, but please join us. All you have to do is bring a lawn chair and a blanket. Bill Manning sat with us last time. It's so much fun.
Jen's got extra pom-poms if you want.
Yeah. You buy your alcohol there. Okay, they sell alcohol there, but you can bring in your own food. They also have food trucks there that you can buy food there. So they just don't let you bring in alcohol. Okay, so August 6th, music starts 4:35. We will be there between 4 and 4:30 setting up. We'll have a big thing that says Rotary, so you'll be able to find us, and we'll see you all there. Rotary Rotarian!
Hey, wait a minute, where's your clips and your carpet?
Yes.
In my dreams.
All right, Ted, are you introducing our speaker today? And one thing, I forgot to say hi to everybody on Zoom, so thank you for joining us as well.
Well, we have a lot of energy in this club. We have a lot of talent in this club. And what I'm happy to say is that we're looking for this next year for people within this group to be able to present their interests. So I know that a lot of us think that we have too much ego involved, but really the talent we have in this club alone is something I think that we all should be proud of, but no, number two, we should all learn about. And the example of that, we have Steve here, who's dropped in on us from the moon. Steve is our typical, I think, of many of the people we have in this club. So we have a new for me, an idea of trying to find the talent within the club so that we get to know each other. An example of that will be Steve's presentation today. So let us welcome Steve.
Thank you, Tab. You know, I'm gonna start with a confession. Something I'm not proud of. I was a very poor student growing up. I hated math, I didn't like science, and even in English, I didn't like adverbs or adjectives or prepositions. I just liked a good story. So while I was at Crestview Elementary School in Merriam, Kansas, I set the record for the most books read in 5th grade, 88. And I fell in love with storytelling. And for my 6th grade birthday, I think I was 11 years old, I asked my brothers and sisters and my mom, all I wanted was books by Kenneth Roberts. And these were adult books. Kenneth Roberts wrote Northwest Passage. He wrote Rattling Arms. He wrote Arundel. He wrote Lydia Bailey, all of these great historical pictures. And here is this 11-year-old kid reading these incredible stories. And my mom, even though I had terrible, I mean, we're talking C's and D's growing up in elementary school, but my mom had a philosophy. She said, if you like to read, you like to learn. So she never really doubted my ability to grow as a young person. She just knew that I would be lost in stories, and I'd go up to my room and I'd read these great books. Well, that led me to storytelling, and all of a sudden, my heroes, my mentors in life, became the guys I listened to on radio and television. So for the Kansas City Chiefs, their broadcasters, the Kansas City Royals, Buddy Blattner, and Denny Matthews, who Bill and I grew up with listening to, Deb Nelson and Fred White, who were Kansas State broadcasters. And then I started turning on the TV, and my heroes became guys like Vin Scully and Jack Buck and Bill King, guys who were able to describe football and basketball and baseball, the action while it was going on. And instead of doing my math homework, my English homework, I would take the black and white TV up to my room and I would listen and study the great broadcasters. Vin Scully, in my opinion, is the greatest broadcaster of all time. But I really wanted to work on that craft, but you know, as a confused, bad student who struggled in high school as well, when I went to Kansas State University, I really had no idea what I wanted to do, but I love sports and I love storytelling. I actually was on academic probation my first semester, actually took a year off, but when I went back, I realized, like, you know what? You're not a very good athlete, but you love talking about sports. And I did one game, and I said to Bill that I wasn't going to share this morning, but that one game I walked out of, it was a little high school game, and my hands were shaking. And they weren't shaking because it was a great game. They were shaking because I knew what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. I wanted to be a play-by-play broadcaster. I wanted to do what Vin Scully did, or Fred White, some of my heroes, Jack Buck. The ability to describe action while it was taking place. And so I would go up and watch that black and white TV and put in my mind, how could I make Marcia understand what I was talking about on the radio when she couldn't see the action? So I had to put it into her mind. And I'll give you an example. Let's say we're playing a football game, and I think all of you can get an understanding of what a football field looks like. Roger Furtick played football in college. So you might want to close your eyes. And this was a typical idea by me that I studied. And I go, okay, let's go with, we'll go with the 49ers. Joe Montana brings the 49ers up to the line of scrimmage, split backs. John Taylor to the right, Jerry Rice to the left. Montana drops back, rolls right, throws right, 37-yard line catch is made by Jerry Rice, first down. Well, in your mind, you had an idea of what was taking place. So that became my passion, and I did that for 47 years. But during those 47 years, I always had a book with me. I was on the road constantly. And I always had, and it wasn't a sports book. It might be
Dinah Gabaldon in Outlander. It might be James Michener. It might be Wallace Stegner. I always liked reading great writers because they had a great tale to tell, like Diana about hiking. But so I did have an inspiration of going, okay, could I ever do this? Could I ever write a book? I love storytelling. I tell stories every single weekend, whether it's college football, college basketball, Major League Baseball, NFL or NBA. But could I actually write a book? And sometimes you get divine inspiration to move you in that direction. And my divine inspiration came on a vacation with my lovely wife, Stacy, in 2006. And this actually happened. Okay. The first 3 days we were in Italy, we were in Rome. And on the fourth day, we drove up to a bed and breakfast in a farmstead in southern Tuscany. And this is a picture I took right outside our farmstead. Well, that night, I went to bed, and I kid you not, I had a vivid dream of a great walled city and two families struggling to produce a wine, and a young lady, spiritual woman, coming from town. She worked in the market inside these walls, and she would go and help these two families who were struggling to produce this wine. And I woke up, and instead of going back to sleep after this vivid dream, I went to the bathroom and I wrote down the outline of what I saw in the dream. And so the next day, Stacy and I were traveling, and we visited little villages, Patigliano, Serrano, Sabano, beautiful. And I told Stacy of my dream, and she goes, "That's fantastic. That's really cool." So we continued on our way, and we went to Florence and Venice and Bologna. And 1 week later, we were visiting friends in this town of Lucca, Italy. So I didn't know anything about Lucca. My baseball season with the Angels had just finished. So I went straight from the baseball season on this trip. I had never heard of the town of Lucca. I hadn't seen any pictures about Lucca. But as we're driving in to meet three other couples, we're staying in a villa north of this town of Lucca, Italy. And as we're driving in, I said, "Oh my gosh, Stacy, these are the walls. These are the walls I saw in my dream. And if you drive around this way, there'll be a portal on the left side, and you can enter there, park the car. And if we park the car, only a couple blocks away will be the market that the young lady worked in. And not far from that market will be the church she attended." And it was true. And as we continued on and saw these walls, they were magnificent. I think 5 meters tall. These walls were that ringed the city for 4 kilometers. And we continued on. And as we went inside, and there's me making a fool of myself with my buddies, but everything came true. The portal was there, the entryway, where to park. And then we walked only 2 blocks, and there was the city market. And this is where my protagonist worked, in the city market of the town of Lucca. And not far from that was the church. And when I saw the church, it looked like the church that was in my dream. And it turned out to be San Frediano, which became the story. So from there I go, okay, this was a tap on the shoulder from the divine, in my opinion. Now, Steve, what are you going to do with this? Are you going to make it happen? Are you going to move forward with this? Do you have the passion? Do you have the time? And do you have a story that you want to tell? So what I did was I bought a book about not only Italy, but the town of Lucca and the history. It was a fascinating town. And I read everything I could, because when you're a sports broadcaster, you're constantly doing research for the next game, what team A has to do to beat team B. So I read all of this material, and I came up with a time frame. And I thought, what if my time frame involved the most difficult time in Italian history? How about World War I? The Spanish flu, the rise of fascism and Mussolini. How did Lucca handle it? How did the citizens of Italy handle it? So what I did was I created two families struggling to produce this wine, and my female protagonist became a young lady by the name of Isabella Rosselli. And while I was doing all of this research and wanting to write a story about Luca and these hard times and how to overcome them, I also was wanting to learn about my spiritual walk. And I am a student of A Course in Miracles for 30 years. And at the time, I had been reading this book for 10 years. And those of you who are not familiar with A Course in Miracles, it is basically a spiritual self-study that teaches the way to love and inner peace is through forgiveness. And I thought, I'm struggling, understanding this language. It was really difficult, even though I've only been studying it every single day for 10 years. And I thought, what if I took the principles within this book and had them within my characters? So I had each of my characters come from a place of unforgiveness. The wine owner, the wine owner's wife, the winemaker who had lost her husband in World War I, the unforgiveness that each of them were holding on to. And in my business, I've always been impressed with the great managers, the great coaches of our time. For me, working with Mike Sosha, who is a world championship manager with the Angels, or working with the likes of Bill Walsh, great 49ers coach, or Lute Olson, guys who had won championships. They had the ability to bring people together. The great coaches I've been around and been part of championships have a unique ability of cutting through the ego and bringing people together. So I wanted my main character, Isabella Rosselli, to have that divining rod where she had the ability to break through and chip away, and that's why it's called the walls of Luca, chip away the walls that are keeping us from becoming the people we're meant to be, the potential that we have. And that became the walls of Luca. So you go, okay, you have the idea, now you need to start writing. So I had done all of this research. I started writing and writing and writing, and I was writing on planes. And remember, I was doing 3 jobs. I had a football season, which went into basketball season, which went into baseball season. So there was a time I was doing 200 events a year, but I still found time. I would write on the airplane. I would write in the bus. I would write in hotel rooms. And I finally, after a couple of years, got about 100 pages in. And then my computer crashed. And it froze up and I lost everything. But I wasn't devastated. My wife was, but I wasn't. Do you know why? It was terrible. And I said to Stacy, I said, hey, you know what? When I start over, maybe I'll remember the good parts and put them together. And, Ted wanted me to go, he goes, Steve, but how was the process? How were you able to do this? And I'm sure Diane has a similar story like this. Okay, Diane's computer did not crash. So after writing all of this, I finally got to a point where I have an author friend in Southern California. I gave it to him and he would give me corrections and say, Steve, you need to show, not tell. Don't tell your story. Have your characters show the story. Tell the World War I, the rise of fascism through their eyes. So then I had to change that. That took a couple of years. I finally got it to a point where he said, this material is good enough to give to a developmental editor, but you're not done yet. It's not that good yet. So a friend of mine in Kansas City, when I was doing the Royals, he helped me find a developmental editor in South Carolina, and she was fantastic. She's done the developmental editing for all 5 of my books. But when I first worked with her, this was her reaction. She goes, I really like your idea, Steve, and here's what I do. I'd take the first 3 chapters, I'd throw them out. I'd move chapter 4 to chapter 1. I'd take chapter 5, and that chapter 4, would become the prologue 5. And I just said, okay. Well, I just go, I only know how to do one thing. Play by play. I've done this for 47 years, but I don't know how to write. And when I said, do you have the passion? Do you have the time? The other question is, do you also have the ability to accept criticism? And I think I am a person who does it. I go, I don't know how to write. Help me out here. Well, Nicole Ayers from Ayers Edits broke it down, and she sent me back a 30-page summary of what I needed to work on, which included cutting out 20,000 words. And she also said, that's nothing, because the recent book I just finished that I'm sending to agents, I just cut 40,000 words out of that one. But she also said, Steve, this is not one book, it's 2 books. And I go, I don't understand. She goes, you pick up the action. Your first book goes from 1914, beginning of World War I, to 1930, when Lucca dedicates its triumphal arch to Benito Mussolini. And it ends there, and then it picks up in 1938. So you need to break this up and come up with 2 books. And those 2 books became The Walls of Lucca from 1914 to 1930, and then 1938 to 1945 became Above the Walls. And the reason I chose the term above the walls is because, coming from a spiritual perspective, when you're going through crisis in life, whether it's World War I, the Spanish flu, the rise of fascism, how it affected the peasants, do you have the ability to rise above the battleground? So that was the term for above the walls. And so I was able to break it up, and I go, my gosh, now I've got to come up with an ending for book 1, and I don't have one. So I wrote an ending, sent it to Nicole. She goes, no, you can't leave him hanging. Do it again. Did a second. No, you're getting it. And finally, I think the 3rd or 4th time, I came with an ending for book 1. So we finish it. Then what do you do? Well, she said, now we need to see if we can get some agents to publish this. I sent it out to numerous agents. God, even my responses were either no thank you or no response at all. So Nicole said, well, then let's take the avenue of self-publishing. But first, we need to get it into the hands of reviewers and see what they think. And so I sent it to reviewers to see if they like The Walls of Lucca and Above the Walls. And as you might imagine, as a play-by-play broadcaster, that's the only thing I did. When I got that first review, I'm going, hey, wait a second. They liked it. They liked it a lot. They gave it 5 stars. This is awesome. And so I continued to write, even as a broadcaster. You know, obviously I wouldn't write in the broadcast booth because I was supposed to be studying for the game, but usually during the day. But it was an example of being on the road. Do you have the discipline? And I think if I have any quality, even though I was a bad student, I've always thought you have 24 hours in a day. What do you do with those 24 hours? So I had to manage my time correctly to be able to write these books, which I did. So eventually, when I finally got them finished, sent them out to reviewers, and the reviews were good. Then I sent them to competitions to see what they thought of me as a writer of historical fiction. And I was blessed when the book was published in 2018. I was at spring training in Arizona, getting ready for a Royals game against the Cincinnati Reds, and the books came in, and so The Walls of Lucca, that was an exciting time. But we sent it out to competitions, and very fortunately, both books were honored in 2019 and 2020 by reader views and reader favorites as their book of the year for historical fiction. We won gold medals. And that was absolutely shocking. And the other surprising one was when I wrote Walks with the Wind, that Chuck and Kimberly read. And this one won the Writer's Digest Grand Prize in 2021. And that's kind of a funny story. And the sequel, Catching the Wind, came out in 2022. It was a book like favorites pick. But here's what happened. I'll tell you the very story, and then I'm going to open it up to questions. So 2021, I've entered this contest with Writer's Digest, which is a very respected organization. And I get this email in December of 2021. And it says, you have won the Writer's Digest Award, and here's what you get. You get $5,000, you get a flight to New York to meet with agents, and you get a feature in our magazine. And I'm thinking, I don't think I want it. So I actually copied and pasted the email, found out who the publisher was for Writer's Digest, emailed her and said, hey, is this like Publishers Clearinghouse where I might be a winner? And she got back with me within a minute and said, ha, 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 no, Steve, that is, you are the winner, and here's what's gonna happen, this guy's gonna call you. Well, the funny story about that is, they said, we're gonna fly you in New York in July. And I go, I can't do that. I have baseball games. But there once again was the divine working for me. And I looked at my Royal schedule. Now I do 162 games. Only 3 of them are in New York. The Writer's Digest conference to meet the agents was July 27, 28, and 29. I looked at my schedule. The Royals played the New York Yankees July 27, 28, and 29. And our hotel was literally 3 blocks from their hotel. So I would race to New York with the team. They didn't have to fly me there. I'd go with the team. I'd go to the event, listen to writers, meet with agents, and then get on a taxi and book it to Yankee Stadium to do a ball game that night. So I did that for 3 straight days, and it was a fantastic experience. But I also messed up because I was supposed to pitch a book to these agents that I had not published yet. And 2 weeks before I went to this event, I had published Catching the Wind. And they said, Writer's Digest said, Steve, you can't pitch that book because you already published it. And I go, had I just held out 2 weeks, I could have pitched that book. So I had to come up with an idea, and I came up with the idea for my most recent book. In 1 week's time, I came up with an idea that kind of played off of The Walls of Lucca, the way that story ended. There was an atrocity that happened near Lucca, Italy. I don't want to give away the story, but it was a Carthusian monastery that the Nazis attacked and arrested all of the monks and later executed them in a forest. It was a horrible, but because it was a Carthusian monastery, the Carthusian monks do not meet with anyone. They don't speak with anyone. They only speak to each other on Sundays and feast days. So this information wasn't even found out until the 1970s. And I was able to uncover it and go, you know what? I'd like to take that story a little deeper. And the other part about the book that I decided to write about was, once I wrote The Walls of Lucca, I found out about the oppression of women in fascist Italy. As an example, Benito Mussolini, along with the Pope, declared that women should only be mothers. So he made colleges and universities twice as expensive for women. And if they if they graduated, they would be paid half as much as a man. So obviously I made one of my protagonists a fierce, dynamic, courageous woman by the name of Nina Caruso. And she's married, and she has a lovely marriage. Her husband's wonderful, so is her father, but they've been raised in fascist Italy. So they are intimidated about the possibilities if their daughter or wife would like to become more than just a mother. And her quest is to be a school teacher. So she became one of my protagonists. And the other one is a young novice monk who's from the monastery who sees this atrocity. And eventually, I'm not going to tell you anything. But that story is, that book is called Beyond This World, There Is a World I Want. Even when you're going through the horrible tragedy that was World War II, and this story takes place from 1943 to 1945, because Italy was not only going through a world war, they were going through a civil war. And when over 300,000 Italian men were taken by the Nazis to work the defensive lines, it was the women who stood up and accepted the challenge, moved forward. And that's where the inspiration comes from. Sorry, but got choked up. I was thinking of my fake character. And what's this poor fake person had to go through? But I just finished that story, and I'm sending it out to agents and working with people. As a matter of fact, Sarah, I don't know if she's here, who's with the Art Center. She's been very helpful with me developing a query letter and presentation, and Melissa Payne, who's a great author here in our Evergreen Jefferson County community. But I'm going to open it up to some questions right now, because that's how I went from a broadcaster to a writer of historical fiction and others. Questions?
Because I've been to Luca, and because I think that's an interesting, but what do the walls have to do with it? That's what I'd like to know.
That's a great question, because the walls ring the city, and the walls of Lucca, there are three different walls: the pre-Christian walls, the medieval walls, and the Renaissance walls. The pre-Christian walls you cannot see any longer. The medieval walls, you can see some examples of it. The Renaissance walls took 105 years to build. And the fascinating thing about Lucca, it at one time was the #2 banking capital in all of Europe. And it was at the end of the Silk Trade Center. So Lucca had a lot of money. So what happens when you have a lot of money? You have fear that someone's going to take your money. And in over 2,000 years of 3 walls, and these walls are fantastic, Marcia. You can go inside. The soldiers could go from one end of the town to the other. They could store their armaments in there. They could draw water from the Syracuse River and flood the plain to keep invaders out. In over 2,000 years, those walls were never militarily tested. So in the psychobabble of my mind, I was thinking, do we do that with ourselves? Do we build these invisible walls to protect us even when no one's attacking us? But that's a natural defense mechanism of a human being. And the one person who rises above that and helps break down the walls, the barriers that are keeping the other characters from love, from coming together as a team to produce the best wine they can, she needs to break down their fears, their unforgiveness, to become the team they want to be. And that kind of comes from my sports team background. Bill,
You've heard of like one-fourth of the stories here that led to these books. And so sometimes you have a chance to do that, because they're really great stories, and the monastery in particular we went to. But my question is, Steve, as I remember, you were kind of on a hopeless journey in college.
Thank you.
Hopeless.
So I resemble that.
Who gave you hope?
Before I met Kimra, as I told you earlier, then you better give him another responsibility. I was on academic probation, as I said, my first semester, and I actually took a year off, worked as a busboy in downtown Kansas City, also worked for my dad, who would go bankrupt that summer. And that's one of the reasons I had to stay out for a year, because I lost all my money because it was in his name. But that's just, that to me, sometimes failure or disappointment leads you to what you're supposed to do. And taking that year off, I thought, you suck as an athlete, but you really like talking about sports. Why don't you try that out? And as Bill said, I came back, I took a class, I had a great professor. He challenged us. He allowed me to do one high school football game. And as I said, I walked out of the booth and my hands were shaking, not because it was a great game, but it was because I know what I want to do for the rest of my life. And that's why I like getting involved with Michelle in Wooden Hawk Foundation, Music Fest, working with young people at Evergreen High School, that I want someone at school to share the same experience I had. How do you discover your passion? It happened to me at Kansas State University, and the result was 47 years in a career I absolutely love, and then following it up to become a writer, which is my newest passion, as you can probably tell.
And your mom?
And my mom? Yeah. So anyway, when I failed, second semester starts, I'm so far behind, I'm failing in everything. So I go, a friend of mine goes, hey, Steve, we can become lumberjacks. I can get us a job in the Pacific Northwest chopping down trees. And I go, great idea. We'll make money instead of spending money. Obviously, I'm a terrible student making C's and D's and F's. We'll do that. So I get in my 63 Volkswagen that costs $250 and I drive 2 hours from school home. And my mom is a school teacher. Education is extremely important to her. And I've got every single question going. Okay, she's gonna say this, here's my answer. She'll say this, here's my answer. I've got this completely ready to go where I can quit school and go get a job. She started to cry. And when my mom started to cry, I couldn't handle it. Put my tail between my legs, went back to Kansas State. Obviously, they had worked with knuckleheads like myself before. They let me get back into school. And I took a bunch of classes that the football team took so I could get these. And I did. And then a year later, as Bill indicated, sometimes the most important thing you can do is just listen to your mom. I did, went back, and I had a wonderful career, but I could have wound up being a lumberjack. Being involved with the Effingham Rotary in Northwest Washington instead of with y'all.
Lord, thank you so much. Yes, on the edge of our seats. What's the feedback from the people of Luca?
You know, it's fascinating because the town of Luca is interested. They do have my books in some of the bookstores. But one of the coolest things with the most recent book I wrote, I went back to do research in 2022. And I call them holy encounters in life. I want to be aware of when I meet someone that is significant. And one of those holy encounters came at the Gothic Line Museum, where I met a young man who introduced me to the president and the vice president of the museum, the Gothic Line Museum, and they asked for the walls of Lucca and above the walls to sell in their bookstore at the Gothic Line Museum. But the young man they introduced me to had only been there a short time. And his name's Roberto Mori. And Roberto was given the key by the president. They took me for a mile walk down to the Gothic Line itself, took the key, opened it up, and we went down to these tunnels that the Germans had put together in 1943-44 as the last line of defense when the Allies were advancing. The cool part of that story is when Roberto and I were walking back, Roberto said, because I told him about what I was writing, and he goes, "I'm so glad I met you today, Mr. Physiak." And I said, "Why is that, Roberto?" And he goes, "Steve, I'm from the Garfagnano region, which is north of Gallificano, where your story takes place. Where I work, my father works in the factory, my mother works in the factory, my sister works in the factory, I worked in the factory. I hated it. I don't want to do that." And I said, "Oh, well, what do you want to do?" And he goes, "Well, today is my 31st birthday." And I woke up this morning and I said, "You need to do something different. You need to do what your passion is." And I said, "What's your passion?" He goes, "I want to be a teacher." And until you told me the story of Nina Caruso and what she'd been through to my favorite person, he goes, that inspired me to go into teaching. So he's done that. And I looked at that as a holy encounter. The other cool part was the Carthusian monastery, Certosa di Farneta, is not supposed to talk to outsiders. They talk to me. And that was incredible. And they're not allowed to meet women. So Stacy had to stay in the car. But a woman we met along the way, she said, "Steve, if you knock on the door, they might come out." Well, this little tiny monk comes out and he didn't speak a lick of English. And he's telling me to go away, go away. But I'm trying to shorten up the story. But a woman who we met along our drive to find this monastery where we got lost, she said, she talked to the gardener outside in Italian and said, "This is what this young man's doing." Well, this little monk comes in and he's trying to shoo me away, saying, "We're a cloistered monastery, we can't talk to." And I said, "No, please, please. I'm a writer from the States. I'm doing this story." So the door closes and I go back and talk to the Italian woman and she says, "You stay there. Someone else is coming." 2 gentlemen show up, monks, 90 years old each, and they're telling me to go away. And then finally I said the magic words, "Gabriel Maria Costa." He was one of the monks who was killed And as soon as I said his name, they go, un momento, and they ran back and they got a young man from Siena who spoke perfect English. And I mean, he was fantastic. He shared books with me so I could gather information. And then as I was leaving, he said, "May I give you a benediction?" And that was pretty spectacular. And I asked him, I said, "Can I get a picture with you?" And he said, "No, you're not allowed any pictures with us." Little did he know, my wife's in the car. So I've got this great picture of him giving this benediction. And at the very end, the other cool thing was he said, "Who's in the car?" And I go, "Uh-oh." And I said, "That's my wife." And he goes, "I want to meet her." And I go, "I thought you couldn't meet a woman." And he goes, "This is special. You're doing a story on us. I want it to be accurate." And so he met Stacy. And all I can tell you is the experiences that I've had on this journey have been absolutely awesome. And the result have been these two books. And then, of course, Walks with the Wind and Catching the Wind. But I'm having a blast. And I know I'm.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you. We're gonna wrap up.
Oh, they're on Amazon. Yeah, they're on Amazon and they're on other carriers too, like Kobo and Apple Books, et cetera, but Amazon's the main one. And with such a weird name, I'm the only physiog on there.
Steve, thank you so much.
Thank you.
So we will donate 60 doses of vaccine, polio vaccine in your name too. So thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for listening.
Okay, as we end the meeting, I just want to remind everybody why we gather is to connect and make a difference. And as you go out in the world this week, please go out, unite for good, and have a great weekend.
Oh, thanks for letting me run over.
You know what? You were only 4 minutes. You wrong. Thank you.
Well, I was eyeballing that clock.
Oh, Steve, you're amazing.
Oh, you were amazing.
Awesome.
Thank
Couldn't
you.
have said it better. And I love your enthusiasm and just the way you pronounce and do everything. You're amazing. You're such a gift.
You know what? I had 47 years of practice.
You're good. Have a great day. Say hi to Stephanie. Yeah, give her a hug.
That's right. You could ask that question. Oh, that's I know. What do you think? That Stacy's idea. Was it? Yeah, Stacy goes.
Great. Inspiring.
Wow, you know, I'm glad. You know. It's like him and I know, listen to him go.
Yeah.
So, Yeah, you know, sorry, because it was like, when I was sitting, I have to, I'm sure, wait, and then front door. It's on Friday night. Lunch is still looking nice. Yeah, like that's like a lot. That's a lot. Yeah. It's take you a while and sit there and eat it. Yeah, when it starts, I feel I just had it. It's first book, my part of the time, so. I like hearing about the process. Area history. Well, you wonder. Try to secularize concepts. Like there is certainly spiritual. We have to be careful with this. How it's like.
We already did that. Yes, I know. I don't get to too many meetings anymore because I'm spending the summer up in my mountain house. So, when I was down the hill, I said, I want to go to a Rotary meeting. What's your mountain? It's up in Jefferson. Oh, yeah, over 285. Yeah. Our county. Okay. Yep. Nice. And yeah, it's a world away and not too far away, but far enough. No, you have a place. Yeah, cool. Yeah, we've had them for about 15 years, and last couple of summers, Debbie and I have spent the summers up there, and we come back occasionally, but yeah. So anyway, but I'm usually up on Zoom, and but that's why I'm not in town. Gotcha. Yeah, it's good to see you. It's good to see you. Live and in color. Live and in color. There you go. Take care. I will. Yeah. That's okay.
You guys can keep talking. Yeah.
All right, well,
I think you're in trouble about having you working. No, well, every once in a while I'll do it, so keep your hand. Yeah, absolutely. That's right. Comfort the afflicted and afflict the comfortable, yeah.
Right, you got it.
Yes. Your blurb about the hike in the minutes? Is it too late for people to say?
No, you know,
I just I still have to leave.
yes, yes, and they should do that by, you know, Monday night would be nice.
Congratulations, first place, once again. Perpetual winner. I bet you did, yeah. 5K?
Yeah. It's a 5K, but I'm going to 30. You know what, I saw. Yeah.
You run long.
Just to understand.
Little hilly, but not too bad. The lens is 100 is coming up, you know.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
No, I know. I know what size.
Right.
I've never enjoyed this.
I like this. What I do is. I'm not here.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah, yeah, okay, I'm gonna go for.
Not even bribe me with your meals. Are you with that? Yeah. That evening.
But you need this. You're not here next week. Neither is Russ, Al. I don't even do. Oh, that. I can take a girl. You want me to stand? To see you. Alright, so. I love it.
Yeah. You got it right. I'll tell you what's here. I'll just go one for one, just to read all those.
What are these?
Yes, but remember.
Can I give them back to you?
Oh, thanks.
I do.
That's good, that was great.
You are, where you going? Okay, well, look at how I did 45 minutes.
How are you?
Some Florence.
In this area, Tuscany area. Yeah.
Congratulations.
I'll be thinking about it, just say. They say it's. Yes, no, keep that comments. Okay. Yeah.
She is. She deferred on, arrived on the 20th. Then she was going to see Carol, so I sent small, I think they were all like some vegetables, and somehow they got lost in the wrong bag. So I sent them out to make sure.
So,
And,
yeah, she's never done it.
and then she found the tiny.
Oh, that's fantastic. No, you'll have a great time. My dad was very disappointed that he didn't get to travel. He kept putting off retiring and selling his business, and then by the time he did, my mom was too sick to travel. So he decided, okay, I'm taking my kids. He took my brother and me to Israel, we're going to a China cruise, we're going to Alaska cruise. And it was a chance for everybody to get together, and we had a great time doing it, so.
Having the, you know, there's kids from 6 to 27.
Oh, goodness.
She had no idea that.
Yeah. It would be great.
Yeah.
Well, and you'll find out whether you want to keep it that way.
I say it was kind
There's a reason why people don't live with their parents, right?
My mom is coming too.